Hi, this is Paul Slack. It's Good News Plan. I'm speaking to Patricia Harrison. Patricia, how are you?
I'm really good. Thank you, Paul.
Great. Well, you're President and CEO of Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Right.
I love it, and I'm an alumni with Channel 13 here in New York, and you're out doing another wonderful outreach to the community and to the world. Corporation for Public Broadcasting to launch a significant initiative to fight dropout epidemic in the United States.
Right.
Give us some background on what's going on, and I know today you're announcing it, and that's all good news.
It is good news. Basically, what we're doing is building on public media's outstanding educational track record, whether we're talking about the early childhood education initiatives that we have been doing for over 40 years, Ready to Learn, which is proven to really get young children, most of them in high poverty areas, ready to succeed in school and life. But what a lot of people may not know is that we have a great track record working with middle and high school teachers as well, and programs that build on research that says if you can keep kids engaged, and usually it's through after-school programs, variety of different kinds, there's more of a chance these kids will stay on the path and graduate. What we do know is that these kids are like everybody else's kids. They go into middle school. There's no doubt in their mind that they are going to graduate. And then, unfortunately, what happens is they drop out of high school before they get that diploma at the rate of 7,000 a day. So if we can make a dent in that number, and we can talk about why should we care, I mean, maybe our kids are all doing great, why should we care about other people's kids? What we can see clearly is that the dropout rate has an impact on communities, on the workforce, on these kids' lives in terms of dreams deferred, wages that they will never have, and overall, it threatens our civil society.
I agree. Idle hands, idle life is not a good way to go. It only causes more than likely disturbance for the individual as well as the society around them. When you're busy and you're involved and motivated, and a worker bee, you're happy.
Yes, exactly.
You have self-worth.
You're not in trouble, and you're on a positive path.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're helping to set that up. Now, you have some wonderful partners in this outreach.
We really do. We're really grateful for our partners, and they include this is the list that we have now. If this list is going to grow, and starting with America's Promise Alliance, the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation, the Independent Television Service, and then as you look at the hub stations we're funding, they are working in partnership with local and national organizations in a very important way, unique to the needs of that specific community.
Mm-hmm. And each one of those, of and to themselves, have the opportunity for significant, I know both, all of them, but America's Promise Alliance has great success, been around with the Powell family, right, for a while.
Absolutely.
And Bill and Melinda Gates are, renowned for education. How are they going to assist you?
Well, I think first of all is the acknowledgement, which is a huge acknowledgement because this dropout crisis has been growing and it's been around for a long time. But it isn't a problem that can be solved, let's say, let the teachers do it, or the parents have to do it. Or why can't we just shape up these kids?
Mm-hmm.
It really turns out that it is a job for everyone. Parents, teachers, kids, the community, business, community leaders. And that's why we called our initiative, of course, American Graduate, but the key word is let us. There's an us there. Let us make it happen. Mm-hmm. And everyone has a role to play. So we are not trying to recreate any new research. We have the research through our partners such as America's Promise Alliance, and down the road, the Center for Excellence in Education. We understand what the problem is. Where we are right now is at a perfect time where everyone agrees that the answer is that parents, families, and communities must play a critical role keeping kids in school. So what public media is doing, we're building on our core expertise, which is education, and partnering at a community level because we're locally owned and operated. We care about the community. We're part of the community. And this was a grassroots idea that came out of stations communicating to CPB that they are seeing dire need in their communities. Alabama, for example, has a 55% dropout rate. So if we can make a dent, we don't want the perfect to be the enemy of the good, but if we can make a dent in these numbers, if we can specifically get people to understand why they should care about a rising dropout rate, why it is in their own best interest to help these kids, then together we will start making headway with the problem.
Now, will you be making, or will the local stations be making specific programs?
Absolutely, and they really, really differ, which is good because each station has specific challenges given where they are in their population. So in Birmingham, as I said, in Alabama, the dropout rate is 55%. Wow. They're going to use their American Graduate Grant to continue their work. I mean, they're not creating something out of whole cloth here. They've been working with teachers all along. They're going to step it up to help teachers use new media tools to keep students engaged with their education. Because we know when we use new media to teach things, it comes across in a way that helps students have a much more interactive experience with education. They'll also be working with teachers who work with at-risk youth who are having a hard time making a transition from middle to high school. And then, of course, and this is a link that all of the stations have in common, they'll be working with community organizations and businesses not only to address the dropout issue, but to identify ways to facilitate action. And some of this action is creating internships through small businesses and other organizations, and a mentor program. And I believe that is what WFYI in Indianapolis is going to be doing. They're going so far as to have their staff work as mentors, volunteer to be mentors and tutor at-risk students, so they can understand firsthand what's required and start measuring what works and what doesn't work. So there's a wide range of activities that stations are doing, and they choose what they want to do. As I said, this came out of what they felt the need was. We CPB are not dictating from a top-down position what they have to do. What we are doing is working with two of our station leaders to manage the initiative so that we can keep tabs on it and make mid-course changes and corrections if we have to, and to begin to develop best practices for other stations who may not be in the initial core 20 community group or 40 station grant recipients.
This is marvelous. You also have a Facebook special page right here.
We do, and it's turning out to be exceptionally popular. And so we're using all media as well. As you know, public media now is on air, online, and in the community. So we're using all of the great tools at our disposal to connect with people, to let them know about it, and we'll keep that going as well beyond, of course, the press conference.
You have a great website, no doubt. I've done a bunch of stories on that as well. And you're a leader in that.
Well, we are. We've been fortunate. So I'm hopeful as we start building this. This is the beginning. The launch is the beginning, and then we hope a year from now to come back and give a report on exactly what has happened.
How can the public get involved?
Well, they can get involved through their local public media stations. And when we announce the various stations who are getting initially the American Graduate Grant, then they can email their stations, and stations are going to be ready to utilize people who want to be involved through whatever specific programs they're putting in place.
Mm-hmm. And where would somebody be able to find that information on which stations got the grant, or will stations be announcing?
Oh, that'll be announced tomorrow. And I'm sorry you don't have that. Nicole, can you make sure Nicole has that?
We're also streaming that live tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, that's going to be announced at the conference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then, if someone emails it to me, I can include it as well. And we're going to put the story up, as, right after you broadcast your press event.
That'll be great, Paul. I really appreciate it.
You're doing good things there. There's no doubt about it. Let me ask you one last question. I know you're speaking to a lot of people. What's good news for you, Pat?
Good news for me is the fact that the American people support funding for public media because it's relevant to their lives on so many different levels. And it really accrues to us as Americans, as Democrats, as Republicans, as independents. So the good news is we have a very viable, strong public media service.
I agree. And having been an alumni, often when I say I worked at public television, Channel 30, it's the only station I watch.
I get that a lot.
All right, Pat. Thank you very much. Congratulations. You've been doing a great job with the whole public broadcasting. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Paul. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.